Hey guys, going to talk about the Star Wars Rebels episode, The Holocrons of Fate, and Darth Maul's return. Full spoilers here, though, so if you haven't seen that episode, all right, let's go. You're still with me, so you don't care about spoilers. This was a really cool episode. There were some things I was curious about as far as we saw Maul return at the end of Season 2, but it was a big episode with Ahsoka and the Inquisitors, and of course Vader versus Ahsoka, that it was almost like overwhelming. So this was the first time Maul came back on his own, and I wondered how they treat him. It was interesting because he's adrift. I mean, there was that moment where he said that what he's searching for is hope, and of course that's a meaningful word for Star Wars in a meta sense as well. But at the same time, you feel like this guy, like, yeah, he just, they talked about this in interviews going into the season, both Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer, but this guy who keeps losing and keeps coming back, but is he kind of just, yeah, not sure what to do next. And I wondered, I was a little worried about them making him too, I don't know, I don't want to say goofy, but there was a very funny moment where he was like screaming in frustration when he couldn't open the holocron and everyone was overhearing him as prisoners. And that was a funny moment, but I don't want them to do that too much. He's freaking Darth Maul, right? But then he tried to kill everyone, and I think that solved that. You know, he tried to kill Kanan out the airlock, and he ordered the droids to kill everyone else except for Ezra, of course. So he's still as homicidal as ever. But of course, what I really want to focus on is the end here, and what was that vision him and Ezra saw? Two sons. When he said that, my first thought was twin sons. I'm sorry. I thought Luke and Leia are not twin sons or twin sister and brother, and then I thought, wait, of course, twin sons of Tatooine. And Maul follows it up by screaming, "He's alive." He's going for Obi-Wan, isn't he? That would make a lot of sense as far as Maul, the vengeance Maul's been seeking since Phantom Menace on this guy. And so if he saw Tatooine, the twin sons of Tatooine, and saw that Kenobi is there, that's where he's headed. That's obviously very exciting for Star Wars Rebels if they're going to in some way involve Obi-Wan in a storyline. We shall see. But meanwhile, Ezra was specifically trying to see how to defeat the Sith. And that makes sense as well, because of course, who is on Tatooine? Luke is on Tatooine. Now, they can't change history, and they can't like go and find Luke and tell him everything. That's not going to happen. But now I am curious what's going to happen behind the scenes. Of course, this could be a total fake out, and they're not talking about Tatooine. They're not talking about Obi-Wan and Luke. They probably are, right? So this is pretty exciting to see sort of how they dive into this. We're getting very close to the events of A New Hope here. Luke's probably a couple years away from that happening. So how close will he come perhaps to this larger world he's not quite ready for? I'm very excited to see that. And I think the idea, obviously, of the Obi-Wan Maul rematch, the final battle perhaps, is one that a lot of fans want to see play out. So I'm excited for that. We'll see where it goes. So for plenty more on Star Wars Rebels, keep it at IGN. You can also see my full review there. And we'll be covering Star Wars a lot because that's a property we're interested in. I think you are too. Thanks, guys.